Let's see. Make sure my sound's working. Welcome back to the barbecue pick. Couple weeks off. Mandatory couple weeks off. No fights. There we go. Good deal. Coming back to a decent fight card. The fight card's not all the way made yet. So I'm doing these predictions based off of what fights I've seen are fighting. Not this weekend, but next weekend. But none of these, pretty much all of them are confirmed, but, COVID's going on. So fights could drop here, there, replacements. There's already 2 fights right now who need replacements, and that is Betch Bahia is having surgery, so she will not be fighting Wu Yayan. Wu Yayan will need a replacement, and Ricky Simone was supposed to fight Brian Kelleher. Kelleher will not be fighting, so Ricky Simone will need a replacement. I assume, they have a week and a half now to make those fights. So I would assume those fights, they can find replacements, but only time will tell. We will see what happens with those guys if the fights get scrapped or if they are able to make replacements for those. Santiago Ponzinibbio will be making his return against Li Jingliang. 27-3 Santiago Ponzinibbio, 15 knockouts, 6 submission wins. He's never been submitted in his career, which shouldn't be an issue against Li Jiang, who's a striker. Currently on a 7-fight losing streak. 2 out of 3 of his losses are via TKO. He's 9-2 in the UFC. His wins include Neil Magny, which was his last fight. His last fight was all the way back in November of 2018. So it's been a long time since we've seen Ponzinibbio fight. He's also beat Mike Perry, Gunnar Nelson, Court McGee, and Sean Strickland. Now, Li Jiang is 17-6. He's never been knocked out in his career. 12 wins by finish, 7 knockouts, 5 submissions. He lost his most recent fight. That was a decision to Neil Magny. That was a lot more recent. That was March 2020. A lot of people say, Li Jiang lost to Neil Magny. Ponzinibbio beat Neil Magny. So that must mean, that strikes me as weird, guys, while the lights are being on in my fucking house. Gotta check it out. I hate when I have to do this when I'm recording, but I think we gotta check this one out. Chill, Mello. You guys tell me if you see a face in that window over there that light just came on in. But Neil Magny's gotten a lot better since 2018. His striking has improved significantly. He still has a very dominant wrestling. What up, man? I don't know how that is. Something's blocking him from going up. There we go. Photo bomb. But Neil Magny's got a lot better. So him beating Li Jiang and losing to Ponzinibbio doesn't really hold much weight. This fight was so far apart. And Neil Magny's been so active since then. Li Jiang is 9-4 in the UFC with wins over Diego Lima, Frank Camacho, and Ezilio Zaleski dos Santos. Obviously, Ponzinibbio beating the more. Aha, Greg is back. One shot Holley. You and these one shot things, man. I don't know. I don't agree with that one, but Ponzinibbio, I think, has got the better striking. He's got great counter striking. Power goes to Li Jiang, but Ponzinibbio definitely is more technical standing up. I think he'll be able to get the win there pretty easily. Alessio De Chirico will be fighting Joe Quinn Buckley. Yeah, see, you say brutalized, but I think it just depends on what Holloway we see him, man. I think Holloway got a little bit of his wits taken away from him with his last 2 fights against Volkanovski. But I don't think that should really say that Holloway's done or anything like that. The thing about Volkanovski is he's a double threat. He's got great wrestling, giant legs, so he's really powerful from underneath him. Whereas Holloway is just more of a striker, a brawler, and that is kind of Kattar is a great boxer. So Kelvin Cater, or whatever you want to call him, is a great boxer. So he's going to be able to stand with him. Max Holloway's going to let his hands go. I think that's actually a really good fight. I think Cater or Catter, however you want to say it, should be the better boxer, coming from a boxing background. But, that's Holloway's strength, man. Not exactly boxing, but just striking, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I hope Ortega strangles the midget. Yeah, me too. But I don't really like Ortega either. So kind of, I don't know why they would make me hide that, but I guess because you said midget, I can't show the comment. That's weird, but I don't really like Volkanovski, but I don't like Ortega more because Ortega got a fucking free ride to the title. He beat. He's supposed to fight Korean Zombie. Fight doesn't happen. That shit moves on. He, in my opinion, should move back in the rankings. Way back December 2019, right? He should have moved back in the rankings. Didn't. Fights one time, wins, and then gets a title shot. I think it's a little fucking privileged bullshit. So I don't like Brian Ortega that much. So. Excuse me. DeChiricho's 12-5. He's never been knocked out in his career. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. He's dropped decisions to Kevin Holland, Magomed Muradov, and Zach Cummings in his last 3 fights. He's 3-5 in the UFC. 6 foot tall, 74-inch reach. So got a decent height advantage over Joe Quinn Buckley. Buckley does have a 2-inch reach advantage, though. He's got a 76-inch reach, and he's 5'8". Buckley's 12-3. 2 out of 3 of his losses come by knockout. 9 out of 12 of his wins come by knockout. He's a brawler. He's got a lot of power in his hands and his kicks. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He's lost his debut to Kevin Holland by knockout, and then knocked out Impa Kazanagi, possibly the knockout of the year, and then also knocked out Jordan Wright in his most recent fight. DeChiricho striking will not amount to Buckley at all. Now, DeChiricho has a decent chin, so we might see that hold up. Buckley might get tired. You never know what happens there in the later rounds if it gets there, but I'm going to go Buckley just off of he's got way better striking, way more power. If DeChiricho is going to get finished, it's going to be by Buckley, so I'm going to go Joe Quinn Buckley there too. David Zawada versus Ramazan Emeev. Emeev is 19-4, 10 finishes, 7 submissions, and he is 4-1 in the UFC. His only loss was a decision to Anthony Rocco Martin, probably his highest, biggest name that he's fought. He won his UFC debut against Sam Alvey, and then every fight in the UFC he's had has been a decision. So, he said 7 out of 19 of his wins via submission, but none of those coming in the UFC, all decisions once he got to the big leagues. He'll be fighting Zawada, who is 17-5, similar record, 11 wins by TKO, 4-1 by submission, 1-2 in the UFC. He lost split decision to Danny Roberts in his UFC debut, and he lost by TKO to Li Ji-Lang in his second fight, and then he won a submission over Abkabar Nurmagomedov. Submitting anybody with the last name Nurmagomedov should put some kind of I don't know what to call it, but kind of just it's real deal is what he's doing there. And all of Zawada's fights coming at welterweight, where Ameev, I believe, started at middleweight with the Sam Alvey fight, and then he got down to Anthony Rocco Martin with the welterweight fight. I think his natural weight class probably is middleweight. I could be wrong about that. Sam Alvey might have fought welterweight for that fight. I'm not sure. But either way, I think, who you fought, fighting style, I'm going to go Ramazan Emeev for that fight pretty handily, too, in my opinion. Amari Ekmedov versus Tom Baris is going to be a good fight. That's right now sitting in the co-main event slot, which, if you're looking at a UFC card on paper and you see that fight in the co-main event, that doesn't really look great. It doesn't look horrible either because, Ekmedov just main evented a fight in his last fight, but main evented a card in his last fight, but doesn't really say much. He fought Weidman, lost his first main event in the UFC, lost. Baris is 12-2, never been submitted in his career. He's only been knocked out once, 11 finishes, 5 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's 5-2 in the UFC. His only losses to Sean Strickland. That was a split decision. And then Brandon Allen via TKO. UFC wins include KB Buhar, Dan Kelly, and Kita Nakamura. And Ekmedov is 25-1, so 14 fights to 26 fights. Decent fight experience goes to Ekmedov. 3-1-1 since returning back to middleweight in the UFC. His wins include Ian Heinisch, Zach Cummings, Tim Bosch, and Abdul Razak Al Hassan. We all know that no contest went to Marvin Vittori, who beat Ekmedov, but he popped for marijuana or some bullshit like that. And then in his last fight, Ekmedov lost to Chris Weidman. So he's doing pretty damn good at middleweight, in my opinion. Win over Ian Heinisch definitely sticks out a good bit. Tom Baris, you know, he's beating new guys. Kamidam Nakamura, maybe not. Dan Kelly, great judo guy, but not really a great dominant wrestler and sambo guy like Ekmedov. Ekmedov coming off plus 120. I think that's a bet. If you want to take a bet and you live in a state where you could bet, obviously, I would put some money down on Ekmedov there to be able to land the takedown and keep him down for the majority of the fight or submit him once they're on the ground. But he's never been submitted in his career, Tom Baris. But maybe that changes. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. I got Ekmedov. First underdog of the main card that I'm going to pick. Max Holloway versus Kelvin Cater. Holloway comes in minus 170. So Greg's bad. He's going to get brutalized by Cater. But minus 170. A lot of people thinking Max Holloway's coming in the favorite. 21-6, 10 wins via TKO. Never been knocked out in his career. Only one loss by submission. He's currently on a 2-fight losing streak, though. We just talked about that. Those 2 title fights to Volkanovski where he lost his title and they gave him the immediate rematch. He lost that fight again. 2 very close fights, though. He has UFC wins over Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo twice, Brian Ortega, and Frankie Edgar. So the who's who of featherweight. Cater is 22-4, never been knocked out in his career. 11 wins by TKO. 6-2 in the UFC. He's got wins over Dan Ige, Jeremy Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, Chris Fishgold, Shane Burgos, and Andre Fili. Nobody at the top of the division like Jose Aldo, Frankie Edgar, Brian Ortega, any of those guys. But he does have some pretty good wins. Chris Fishgold's a good grappler. Shane Burgos, Andre Fili, Ricardo Lamas, Jeremy Stevens, all great strikers. Dan Ige's a great win, too. We talked about it a little earlier. Cater's got amazing boxing. I would not be surprised to see Cater come in and just box Holloway up and work his way to a decision. But that's where Holloway is going to be able to, he's got a great chin. He's not going to get taken down. He's not going to have to worry about the takedown. He's got a great chin, and he's great in the 4th and 5th round. And this is a main event fight, so regardless if it's for the title or not, it will be a 5-round fight. Therefore, I'm giving the advantage to Holloway based off of his ability to win a decision if it gets there, which I think it will. So, Greg, I hate to go against you there, but I'm going to go Max Holloway via decision. Rest of the card, we're going to go over it, but again, this could change. There could be a couple fights that back out. There could be fights that fill in for these fights. Like I said, the Ricky Simone fight needs a new opponent, and then Wu Yanan needs another opponent as well. Other than that, we got Justin Tafa versus Carlos Felipe. I think that's a great fight. Austin Lingo versus Jacob Kilburn. Shout out to Jacob Kilburn coming out of Island Fights. He's going to be great one day. Going to work his way up in the UFC starting now. Punahele Serrano versus Dusko Torodovic. Betchway, of course. Nick Lentz versus Mike Grundy. That's going to be a great fight. Mike Grundy's got amazing grappling, and Nick Lentz is just a scrapper. Nasruddin Amadov versus Phil Hawes. Another great fight. Phil Hawes coming in from the Contender Series. All good things to come. I think January 20th, which is that Wednesday. Weird schedule we got coming up too, guys. I want to just point that out a little bit. I'm going to go to the event page on the UFC website. We got Cater and Holloway, which I think the prelims are going to start. Oh, they got it all laid out already. Oh, and I was wrong. They put Nick Lentz, Grundy, Carlos Felipe, and Justin Tafa on the main card. And then I guess the other ones got put on the prelims. But the prelims are going to start on the East Coast at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Main card starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast. Then January 20th, I think we're going to run into Michael Chiesa versus Neil Magni. Let's see if we can find a start time to that too, because I already seen it. I don't know why this thing. Oh, this one, the main card starts at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So another early one. And then you go to the pay-per-view one, which is Poirier McGregor, and the main card starting at 10. So 7 o'clock prelim start. Goes back to normal time. But those first two, man, you get and the one in the middle, the January 20th, that's a Wednesday. So I mean, if you live on the East Coast, you gotta take your day off work, man, because that thing starts at if it's 12, then it's gonna start like 9 o'clock in the morning or so on a Wednesday. So take off work, or if you like me, I got a job where I could sit down and I call people all day. I don't work for a call center or anything, but I call people all day, so I can literally just pop it on the phone, boom, put it there, and just boop, 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 and I could watch the whole time. So I guess I got pretty lucky in that. I don't have to take a day off, but I highly recommend it. It's going to be a pretty decent fight card. Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa is a beast fight. For some reason, the UFC page does not show the rest of the fights on the card, so we can look at them real quick. Douglas Silva and Andrade versus Lerone Murphy. Roxanne Modafferi versus Vivian Arjo. Tyson Nam match now. Carlos Condit, Matt Brown. That's a great fight right there. Pedro Munoz, Jimmy Rivera. Mason Jones, Mike Davis, another Allen fight veteran. Mike Davis coming back. Monir Lazez versus Wally Alves. And then take a look one more ahead to the McGregor one. Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler on that card. Jessica Ayo and Calderwood. Khalil Roundtree versus Marcin Prashino. Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas coming back. Let's see. Fucking Matt Favola, Atman Azatar. Shane Burgos, Hakeem Dawandu. Damn, son. Andrew Sanchez versus Makhmad Muradov. Juliana Pena versus Sarah McCann. When the fights finally start next weekend, we got 3 right off the bat great fight cards. First one I would think would be the weakest, second being the second weakest, and the third one that and also breaking news also two things that are breaking news. First thing is it's being rumored that Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor will be for the vacant lightweight title. So that's huge. And then Dana White was seen on Instagram making fun of people who pirate the UFC fights and illegally stream them. He said he's got something for you guys this year, starting 2021. So I heard rumors that he's already shut down Crack Streams or Crack Stream or whatever you want to call it. So that's no more. And apparently, according to his Instagram, he's going to go on a tirade, just finding people and shutting them down so that people have to pay for the UFC events. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if the numbers go up or what it does. But this is it for us tonight, guys. I'll be back. We might be back next Tuesday. It depends on how many changes happen or what all happens to this card. If not a lot happens to this card, we probably won't come back next week. We'll probably just wait until after the Max Holloway card and do preview for the Michael Chiesa fight. But so possibly, you never know. Check back at the page, see if we're here. If we're not, following Tuesday, definitely be here for sure. But until next time, guys, stay barbecued. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, do your thing. Hit me up.